right, Nancy. Hey,
Greg!
it's been such a fan of yours for such a long time. So it's a pleasure on I'm finally meeting you, face to face like this.
Thank you. Likewise.
So lots of press lately for your new series that just came out last week, Rugrats, and I'm sure you did a lot of press yourself.
Oh, Gig, you have no idea. It was a lot, but we're so excited. Paramount Plus picked us up, and it's just, you know, after it started like some 30 years ago, Rugrats. And for me to be a part of this family, and I haven't been a part of it, as you know, I haven't been a part of it the entire time, but to find out that they wanted to pick this show up again after 16 years holiday, and that the babies are still the same age. It's an honor. I'm just thrilled to be up. I love Chucky. I just love him.
What was that call like when they called you about the reboot of Rugrats?
Well, I was just over the moon. I'm like, are you kidding me? But it totally made sense because as a business model, because I produce things now, as a business model, it's brilliant because you've got the parents of the kids who used to be the kids, and now they're the parents of the kids, and now the parents are the grandparents. So you've got the babies, you've got their parents, and you've got their grandparents now watching it all from their viewpoint, and it's the same and yet it's different. Time has definitely played a part of the changes. And I love that. I could go on and on here, but I want you to be able to ask me anything that you want to ask me, but I could just go on and on. I love this show.
You know what I will ask you is because one of the things that I tend to forget is that Rugrats has been around for such a long time, since I want to say the early 90s.
Yeah, 91.
And that's like that was like my college years in per se. And I've seen the recent episodes. They have really updated
Oh yeah.
this show.
Yeah, I love it. I think the main thing is they kept the integrity of the characters and the integrity of the show itself, because it's the viewpoint is through the baby's eyes. And you see these little kids in wonderment, and everything is new, and everything is exaggerated, everything's scary, and and especially Chucky's eyes. Chucky is the same Chucky now that he was back then, except he's in 3D. And you just want to squeeze him, and you want to hear when you squeeze him like a toy. I love him. Every line that he says, it makes me laugh. And the recording sessions are hilarious. It's just, we have to stop and laugh because he's so funny. And I get to do improv every now and then, which is great fun. So Chucky, the characters, they're all the same characters, but the look of the show is different. I mean, it's now three-dimensional. And that itself is a change in the culture. They didn't have, back in 1991, they didn't have 3D. I don't think, did they? I'm pretty positive they didn't have any 3D. I mean, was Pixar doing 3D in 91? I'm not sure.
No, I don't.
I don't think so. But this is three-dimensional, and it just kind of goes along. It's a sign of the times. It's a technological advancement that, to me, makes sense for the parents of today. They're more used to, and it's the fact that you want to touch them, that you never had that urge with two-dimensional animation. You can see behind me, I've got a modest collection. There's Chucky. I've got a modest collection of 2D animation. You remember, Chuck Jones, the Grinch, he created Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, and I've got this modest collection, but you never felt like you could reach out and actually touch these characters. But in 3D, they just become more real. It's amazing to me, and I love it.
It does sound like it is because this new look for Chucky, it's more colorful, more brighter, more crisp.
Yeah. And the other thing that they did with that, they modernized it without ruining the integrity of the show, is that the parents are all on cell phones and they communicate, instant messaging or text messaging or FaceTiming it, and you see that on the show. It's super cute. they're not the only show that does that. I'm just going to say they're not the only ones that do that, but they do that. And Grandpa he's dating online. And another thing that they modernize is the family units have changed a little bit. Betty is a lesbian, and she used to be a parent with a husband, and now she's a single mom, and she's come out of the closet, and she's got these 2 twins, and she's raised her kids that way, and that's the way our culture has evolved, and so it's more relatable to the public today.
Absolutely. I think it's all of this is for the better anyways. I mean, as a person who remember the 90s, people forget we didn't have FaceTime or cell phones or, during the original animation series. And now with the new generation watching Rugrats, they will experience that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, as a voiceover artist yourself, you had to take a break from Chucky for some time. Was it easy to get that voice back?
Absolutely, no problem. I know Chucky like the back of my hand. I know Chucky like I know Bart. And he's very, he's complicated. There's an adenoidal problem. There's a fear. The placement of the voice is it's a little clogged up at the back of my throat. I like to enunciate my words a little bit more like that. And so I can slip into him very easily. And because I only do Chucky on that show, it's not like I'm talking to myself and doing all these scenes with other characters and me voicing all those characters. So that's kind of a relief.
What about some pronunciations of words? Some of the words, because of the way Chucky speaks, are hard to pronounce, like aminals. I mean, when Chucky said that,
not aminals. I mean, animals don't think like we do. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up like repeating it myself while watching that episode, trying to pronounce it and repronouncing it correctly again.
Yeah, I think we all have histories of that. Parents out there, I have 2 kids myself, and I'm a grandma, and expecting grandbaby number 2 any day now, as a matter of fact. So, witnessing kids, like my kids would mispronounce words, and my granddaughter actually would say, instead of thanks, she would say ganks. Ganks. And I didn't want that to change. It was so cute. Here you go, Brighton. There you go. Ganks. Ganks, Nana. Okay, you're welcome. She had no idea. And then it was just within the last 2 weeks or so. Here you go, Brighton. Thanks, Nana. Oh no, she's not a baby anymore. She's going on 5 now. And it's like she figured it out and knows how to say thanks. But there was sketty instead of spaghetti, plillo instead of pillow. Certain words, and you kind of hold that precious to you as your child is learning how to speak. They really captured that with the show.
So this show means a lot to you, but why do you suppose this show is so successful for so many decades? What do you think is the secret of it?
Well, because it really, I don't know of any other show that it's all about the babies. It was the first time that it was done like that, and there maybe been some knockoffs, but nobody says it better than what Arlene Klasky and Gabor Chupo and Paul Germain did with this show. They were the originators of it, and they're still connected with it. I think that's fantastic, and others that have taken over as executive producers, I think have really done a really super great job maintaining that. Eric and Kate Batelier, and even the director Charlie is brilliant at directing us. It's just so much fun. We laugh so much recording the show because they're so just taking on that viewpoint of a child, and it's great for kids to look at because they're babies and they're cute. And the kids that really love the show, I think the public is like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 11 years old, and it resonates some truth to them. And I think that's the key to it, that there's something about this show that's very truthful.
Excellent. Well, let me get into some of the personal projects that you have recently ventured off into. First of all, congratulations on your master class.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was such an honor. I mean, when I was asked to do it, I was like, wow, because it had never been done before as a voice actor and positioned with people like Ron Howard and Tony Hawk and Annie Leibovitz and Wolfgang Puck and these masters in their area. And it was quite a creative challenge, and working with that staff with masterclass, we had so much fun doing it together. And this isn't their area, their production, but they're counting on me being able to definitely communicate what's needed on my end in order to make this happen. And then COVID hit, so they came up with this idea, good, let's animate this thing. Let's animate the show. And I just thought it was such a clever idea, because that's what it's about. You know, you've got an awesome cat behind you right now.
She's on my chair now.
I have a white cat also.
I actually switched rooms because I used to do my Zoom thing with an open window, and they just keep on zooming by me. So I figure I changed this room because I have this behind me. And this cat still Zoom bombed me somehow.
Oh my goodness.
So
Okay.
So anyways, yeah. So your master class. So what at which point did you finally realize that you are a voice master? I know because you did Rugrats, you did Simpsons and all this kind of stuff, but to some people, it never dawns on them that you're so big in the industry, and now the master class kind of seals it, right?
Well, it's an interesting question. I just kind of have been doing what I've been doing for decades, and to be straight up with you, it's like I've done all these voices for a long, long time, but a lot of people didn't know that I did more than Bart on The Simpsons. And
Yeah.
it was only about maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I got nominated for an Emmy. And it was only at that time that the public realized that I'm Bart, Nelson, Ralph, Kearney, Todd, Database, Maggie. And even people in the industry didn't know that, because at the end of The Simpsons, when they credit the voice actors, they don't list all the characters we do, because everybody does multiple characters on the show. I mean, even Yardley, who does Lisa Simpson, occasionally she does a secretary, she does a mother, she does a lawyer, she does an old lady that's not named, that's not a regular, it's like an extra character, but my characters are pretty strong in the show, but I never really talked about it much, because once I said, I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you? It didn't matter. Nobody asked, and I never volunteered. They were interested in talking to me, and then we're off to the races. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it was around that time when I got nominated. So it was only maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it's not me, it's the public's viewpoint of me that changed. That's what I saw.
Well, for your master class, because when you entered the industry years ago, how much has changed today from yesterday that as you teach your master class? Are you giving out the same advice, or you're giving out different advice?
Well, I only taught one class before in my history, and all I know is that teaching is a whole different game than performing. Having the ability to get others to duplicate what you need in order to do that job that's very challenging. And I've never considered myself much of a teacher until they asked me to do this master class. And then they helped me to break it down, because even when I do voices, I don't know how I do that. It's kind of, I had to look at, how do I do that? And then I break that down for you in the actual masterclass. And by the way, for those that are watching you gig, masterclass is a subscription. You go to masterclass.com, you pay a fee, you can buy you can buy an annual membership, or just buy one class. whatever you want. If you want to buy my class, that's fantastic. You know, so you'll get the whole thing. You can stop and start. You know, you can only work for 15 minutes today. Good, do 15 minutes. It will hold your place. It's super easy. So for me, I learned about teaching by doing the master class. You know, and looking at, going through my own history of how I got where I am today. What are the successful things that I did? And I kind of pass that baton on to you. So hopefully you can take what it is that I teach you and you can get started.
I think it was most appropriate that you taught the class as an animated character. That was perfect.
I loved it. I think they did a particularly good job in making me look youthful. I appreciated that.
Most definitely you would recommend this master class for anybody, even people who want to dabble in it or
yeah, I mean, really, there's a number of publics for this. People that have been told they've got an unusual voice, that they should try to do the voiceovers, but there's also narration. You know, there are audiobooks that you can do. You can do commercials. You can do voiceovers for, obviously, animation. But for somebody that's told, and for people that really want to do it, as a starter, as a beginner class, this is a perfect class for you. For somebody else that actually just doesn't know how it's done, this is fun just for entertainment, because I tell anecdotes, and I teach you, and the animation is so clever. For people that are just Nancy Cartwright fans. What else does she do? I mean, they could enjoy it too. So anyway, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to talk to me.
Yeah, it's not a problem. You know, my purpose is to talk about the projects that you actually have. But there is one more project that I do need to cover, is something called Create for You.
Yeah. So Create for You is it's a production company. I have 2 production companies. This one I have 3 partners, and each one of us, Monica Gill, Jaime, and Carolina Emmerich, we all came together because we all bring a different skill set to the game, and each one of us has a certain power or a network of people that we're connected to, or a certain ability that it's like the 4 of us make a complete team. In other words, I couldn't do it without Monica. I couldn't do it without Jaime. I couldn't do it without Carolina. Carolina can't do it without me. She can't do it without Jaime, can't do it without Monica. Each one of us has a very specific skill set that we bring to the game. And if one of the person is out, we would have to find somebody else to wear that hat. I think for this particular production company, this is minimal, and I don't, no more executives needed, and we're flourishing. We are like in touch with all the networks, and we've got a contract with DreamWorks right now for a little animated baby show. It's a really cute little show, and we're also doing live action together, taking properties, intellectual properties from South America, from Mexico, from Cuba, from Puerto Rico, Spanish-speaking countries, and taking those and developing them into American shows. You know, that it's already built in, that there's a diversity that we're communicating. It is a how do I say it? I mean, it's needed right now. It's kind of like content that has been sorely lacking in the entertainment industry for way too long. And it's a public that is there, and it's ripe, and it's like fraught with all kinds of creative stories and interesting people to talk about and do films about. So that's where we're that's our strong suit, and that's what we're doing. I want to keep going on, but I'm getting a signal here that I can't.
Oh, that's okay.
We kind of run over a little bit of time here, so maybe we schedule another time. How about when one of these shows we get a contract, and I come back and I can tell you more about it? What do you think, Gig?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, Nancy. I think this is an enjoyable conversation, and I would love to talk about your personal projects.
I would love to come back. I would. You're a pleasure to talk to.
Hey,
I really mean that. I don't say that to everyone. You make your space is very open for me to say whatever I need to say, and that's rare.
Hey, not a problem. Next time, Nancy. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Gig.
Bye now.
Okay, bye.